All right, so that's it. Next on the card, our main event here at the MGM Grand Garden in Las Vegas, Nevada. It is undefeated Felix Trinidad versus Rockin' Rodney Moore for the IBF Welterweight Championship. Well, with a record of 27-0 with 23 knockouts, Felix Trinidad has one of the best knockout ratios in boxing, 85%. He fights an average of 3.96 rounds per bout. He has 7 first-round knockouts. He's 8-0 with 7 KOs in world championship fights. Impressive stuff. But for Felix Trinidad, that's not enough. He wants more, and that's spelled M-O-O-R-E.
I feel like I got a puncher's chance, and I'm coming to fight. I'm looking to get my shots off too. So, you know, I feel like that's my opportunity to shock the world.
In the past, I have fought with many fighters who punch hard. I don't think one more hard puncher will really make a difference. Rodney Moore is going up in weight, but only time will tell how hard he can punch.
My best chance is to catch Felix early, I think, because I've seen a lot of his previous fights, not to look at them guys, because I punch much harder than some of them guys he's faced that had him down. And I feel like that I'm a better finisher than some of the guys that had him down. They look like they just didn't go after him.
That's his opinion, but in my past fights, when I've been knocked down, even if my opponents had tried to finish me, they still would not have beaten me, because I came to fight in great condition.
It's going to be a shootout. Both of us have puncher's chances. They might not think I got so much of a puncher's chance, but at welterweight, I'm going to surprise a whole lot of people, and most of all, I'm going to surprise Felix Trinidad as far as punching power. I don't think he'll think I punch as hard as I do.
He's a great boxer. He's had 2 opportunities for championship titles. This is his 3rd chance, and I know he will come prepared. This may be his last chance.
I'm taking this fight as is my last one, meaning if I don't succeed, yeah, that'll be it for me, you know, and I decided to finally make it public because in my heart, I know that I gave everything I had, and I know I'm not ready to retire, so I'll be more dangerous now than I have been in my other 2 previous World Championship fights.
I'm in great condition. I want to win and remain undefeated. He will not be my first loss. Rodney Moore won't be the one to take my title from me that I've worked so very, very hard to get.
Well, ever since Felix Trinidad turned professional, he's been tagged with the label superstar in the making. What exactly has been the problem between Trinidad's camp and promoter Don King?
Well, initially, as he progressed, he thought he needed to get more and more money. That's the age-old argument with a boxer with a promoter. Of course, the other promoters start dangling the $1 million tag in front of him. If you come with us, we'll get you a $1 million fight. Well, he fled the Don King camp to go get the million, which is, as usual, highly illusory. And when they went to purse bids, he got considerably less than $1 million to fight, and he was sort of deceived and fooled and said, hey, the world out here is very tough. At least I'm protected with Don King, being that he gets me these great fights in a row, and I know I can work. And so Don promised him to make him the star of the show, to pay him an equivalent sum of money, and he's on his way to what I think could be 4 or 5 brilliant fights in which he can make his reputation, should he win them all, make a genuinely big impression in the boxing history.
We've seen a husband-wife team before. This is a father-son. Felix Sr. trains Felix Jr., and invariably you have problems.
Yeah, I've seen very few successful father-son teams, very few successful. Our friend Bobby Ches and partner certainly had a rocky relationship and a strange relationship with his father. And unfortunately, so did the Quarries, so did many of them. It's heated more because they're off in Puerto Rico, and they add fuel to the fire down there so badly, and that they got a divisiveness going between the father and the son. Then there's Jamil Shadeh, who originally brought him to King and brought him to this prominence, who got shelved out of the whole thing. Now he's fighting his way back in. And what they got there is a good old-fashioned Spanish Civil War going on again. Everybody is fighting everybody. I think now they need a mediator, an ombudsman to come in there and water them all down and make them realize they got to make an agreement, financially make an agreement, sign in with King, and proceed on to the business of becoming a gigantic star.
All right, Ferdy, how about a prediction between Trinidad and Moore?
I don't see any way that Moore can win this fight. Truthfully, I think even in his conversations with us, he sounded like a guy waiting to lose.
Okay. Is Rockin' Rodney Moore enough of a challenge to test the skills of Felix Trinidad? What do you think, Bobby?
Well, you know, as it lays out on paper, Rockin' Rodney Moore doesn't have who's who on his list of people that he's beaten, and even people that he's fought. Some he's lost to. Trinidad undefeated, and he's beat some of the best in the division. Early on, I think Rodney Moore's going to come out. I think he's going to take his shot at Trinidad because Trinidad has started slow. But overall, the natural talent level of Trinidad is so much greater that I don't think you could judge by what he does here tonight, unless, of course, we judge him on the downside. If Rodney Moore does something good and upsets Trinidad, well, he will lose that aura of possible greatness. So we can only judge him in a bad way tonight. I don't think we truly judge him in the positive side.
Bob, did you get the feeling in our meeting with Rockin' Rodney Moore yesterday that, you know, really nice guy, outgoing guy, very ebullient, great personality. You get the feeling, though, that he's just happy to be here fighting Felix Trinidad. He even said to us, after 14 years, his wife said that he's lost the fire for the first time.
Well, you know, your wife probably the only one who knows you better than your trainer, and I'm sure his trainer might know that he's also lost the fire a little too. But, you know, if it's showing that much even at home, maybe he has lost the fire. Maybe it's time, and maybe he realizes that too, and she just helped point it out to him because us old fighters hate to die.
Right. Moore said that as he steps up in weight, it will provide him with more punching power. I don't think that's going to put much of a scare into Felix Trinidad, but well, will that be true?
You know, sure, he's going to punch a little better. Maybe he was making a weight that was uncomfortable and unhealthy for him. Maybe it was a weight that he just wanted to make to stay down there to fight Frankie Randall as he did, but he saw what happened. Here you're fighting a guy who's a borderline junior middleweight who can really punch and can box and is really well conditioned. So, you know, if you're going to help him, that he punches harder, but he's also punching with a guy who punches even harder than that. Yeah. So I don't know how much it's going to help him.
Moore told us, he said, I know when to quit, unlike other boxers. He wasn't looking at you when he said that.
No,
he wasn't looking at you. He was looking at Ferdy. No, but he says he's got things lined up. He manages an R&B rap group and all that. So, you know, that's good to know. At least he has something lined up after this, and it might almost be time for him to start thinking about that.
Every fighter's individual. He's only 30 years old. I turned 34 today, as a matter of fact. So
happy birthday.
Thank you. I still have a couple years, I believe, left. But, you know, I see certain things that have eroded just a little, certain methods of training that need to be altered. My timing's off. Look, certain fighters have to deal with what they have in their bodies. You know, Sean O'Grady turned pro when he was like 15 years old. You can't expect him to still be going at it when he's 35. You know, I turned pro when I was 18. I'm not sure why I'm still here, but I'm still succeeding.
And Sean's only 18 now. That's the amazing part. He looks 18, doesn't he? All right, so we're waiting for the arrival of Rockin' Rodney Moore, and as we say it, here he comes. And how about a quick prediction on this fight, just for the record, Bob?
Well, I'll tell you what, Rockin' Rodney Moore said to me, he said, this fight's not going to a decision. This is going to be a bang-out. Now, I just can't envision him banging out Felix Trinidad, so I have to say before we see the middle to late rounds that Rodney doesn't make it.
Okay. Rockin' Rodney Moore, whose nickname actually has nothing to do with boxing. He got it for his work as a DJ, a disc jockey. Tonight, his third world title shot. In his last championship fight, he lost by TKO to Frankie Randall for the WBA Junior Welterweight Championship back in 1994. And here he comes with the white robe. Makes his way in. Rockin' Rodney Moore.
And you know what, we got a moment here. Bobby, I'd like to talk to you a second about these prospects. We keep talking about Trinidad with Randall, Trinidad with Purnell. You know, give me your off the top of the head. Randall and Trinidad, how do you see it?
Well, I think Randall, you know, it's a tough call for Randall because Randall is smaller. He's only 140 pounds. Trinidad, he's a big 47. He's 5'10", and he's full. and he's borderline junior middleweight, and I think that his eventual real test will come with guys like Terry Norris and a little above him in the weight, because I think except for Pernell Whitaker, he might be able to dominate everything from his weight down.
Felix Trinidad came in late, so we're still awaiting his arrival. Moore told us he really respects Felix Trinidad. He doesn't play around. He comes to get you out of there. He'll try to hit Felix early. He said he can't stand in and trade, and he knows that Felix is looking for the KO, Bobby. But Moore says so am I. So we could see some fists flying, bombs here early in the first round.
Well, you know, once again, he's an affable guy. He's a pleasure to talk to, but Rockin' Rodney Moore has the right attitude. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to put myself in a position to win. I'm going to stand. I'm going to plant. I'm going to get my pound of flesh and take my shot. He's got to at least put himself in a position to win, even if it's not going to be by decision in the long run. That's not the way he sees the fight coming out. He sees himself taking his shot, and let's face it, Trinidad's been down a few times. He's shown that he is susceptible early. Sometimes he gets into a little lazy, gets hit. Stranger things have happened.
You know, Bobby, but either way is bad for him. If he mixes it up, then he's gone. And if he runs from, he'll eat him up. Trinidad will eat up a guy run from. So this guy's really in a hard place. He's almost reduced to what you say. Take your shot, see what you can get. And, you know, get your pound of flesh and hope that Trinidad backs off of it.
He gets paid the same if he loses in 1 or 2 as he does in 10 or 12.
Well, Moore is tough.
Thought,
He's come off the canvas to win. He fought valiantly, although he lost to Frankie Randall for the title in '94, the WBA junior welterweight title, taking that fight on short notice. He told us something interesting, the thing about his wife not seeing the fire in his eyes anymore as far as the boxing is concerned, and we'll see what happens after tonight. Trinidad said that he'd love to unify the title, fight them all in a row. He really wants Pernell Whitaker. He thinks he can knock out Terry Norris after he gets by this guy here, Rockin' Rodney Moore, sometime in the future, and really feels he could be better at super welterweight.
Well, I'd love to see him fight Frankie Randall. Frankie Randall's had maybe the longest bad luck streak I've seen of any fighter that's as good as he is. I mean, what happened to him with Chavez and now what happened to him with Koji. I mean, I'd really like to see a big fight for Frankie, and I think Frankie and Trinidad would be a great fight to look at. I think Trinidad would dominate in the end, but what a fight to look at while it goes, because Frankie can fight.
Well, Frankie's a good fighter, no question about it, and the golden rule has been, albeit with certain exceptions, the good big man beats the good smaller man moving up because he's just bigger.
Big does count in boxing.
Well, this has got to be rough, Bobby. I don't know if you've ever been in a position where you've been the first person in the ring, and you just got to wait and wait. Finally, here comes Felix Trinidad. That can't be fun.
I've been there, but you know, it's funny because when I come to the arena, they'll say if the fight starts at 10:30, we want the main event there by 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock. I'm there at 6:30. I'm there a couple of hours. You know what? It doesn't bother me. I don't care. I know where I'm walking to my destiny. I've done what I've had to do. If I have to wait a minute or an hour, it's just the same to me, but some fighters get really aggravated.
Trinidad has had just 5 fights in the last 2 years. The year before that, in '93, he had 6 fights. Felix Trinidad won the IBF welterweight championship in his first world title attempt with a devastating second-round knockout of 2-time world champion Maurice Blocker. And at the time, Trinidad was only 20. He has since defended the crown 7 times with wins over Luis Garcia, Anthony Stevens, Hector Camacho, Yori Boy Compass. That was a war. Obakar, Roger Turner, and Larry Barnes. He went down early against Compass and Carr, and as you guys were talking about, and came back.
Yeah. And many people don't. If they do get up against Campos, it's all over because this guy's a great. You don't understand what an accomplishment was. I followed him so far, and I thought that was great for him to be able to overcome it.
Trinidad says that's because he's in great condition. He's able to go down and come back and finish with a flurry. Let's check the numerical breakdown as we go to the tail of the tape. At 23, Trinidad is 7 years younger than Moore. 1-inch height advantage for Trinidad. The weight is even at the 147 limit, and Moore with the 3-inch reach advantage. And the IBF rules for this championship fight: 10-point must system, 3 scoring judges, no 3 knockdown rule, no standing 8 count. Only the referee can stop the fight. The bell cannot save a fighter in any round. And if there's an accidental foul before the end of the 6th round, the fight is ruled a technical draw. If it happens after the end of the 6th, they go to the cards. So here at the MGM Grand Garden in Las Vegas, closing in on our main event, the IBF Welterweight Championship. Let's get the official introductions from our ring announcer, the classy Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we continue our action at this time, we ask for your attention for a very solemn moment as we pause to recognize the passing of one of the big names of boxing. Just last week, cancer claimed the life of one of the great promoters of our time, Dan Duva. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we ask for your silence as our timekeeper tolls 10 as we remember the Duva family and pay tribute to Dan Duva. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. May God rest his soul. Well, fans, as always on Showtime Championship Boxing, a donation will be made by Showtime Networks and Don King Productions to the United Negro College Fund, the National Hispanic Scholarship Fund, and the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. This donation will be made in the name of the Fighter of the Night, who will be selected by an expert panel of judges at the conclusion of tonight's action. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to the Grand Garden here at the world's largest hotel, casino, and theme park, the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, Nevada, for our featured bout of the evening, brought to you by Don King Productions and the MGM Grand. This bout coming your way is sanctioned by the International Boxing Federation, the President Robert Lee Sr., Supervisor Robert Lee Jr., along with the Nevada State Athletic Commission. The chairman is Dr. James Nave. Commissioners Nat Carasali, Dr. Elias Ghanem, Luther Mack, and Crispin Rivera. The executive director, Mark Ratner. Our physicians at ringside, Dr. James Game, Dr. William Berliner, and Dr. Gino Signorino. Timekeepers at the bell also keeping count of the knockdowns, Jane Broadfoot and Mike Lasella. Introducing to you the judges scoring this title bout from ringside, Glenn Hamada, Dave Moretti, and Jerry Roth. All right, fans, here we go with the main event of the evening. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, it's showtime! With the IBF Welterweight Championship of the World scheduled for 12 rounds of boxing. Our referee in charge working in this is 26th World Championship bout, Mitch Halpern. Introducing to you first, ladies and gentlemen, the challenger on my right, fighting out of the blue corner. He enters the ring wearing white trunks with black trim, fighting out of and representing the fight town of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He weighed in at the welterweight limit of 147 pounds, and his record stands at 37 wins, 9 losses, and 2 draws, with 19 wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome tonight's challenger, making his 3rd attempt at a world title, ranked the IBF number 8 welterweight contender, introducing Rockin' Rodney Moore. And his opponent across the ring on my left is the defending world champion, fighting out of the red corner. He is wearing multicolored trunks and fighting out of Coupe Alto, Puerto Rico. He weighed in the same as his opponent at 147 pounds even. He is unbeaten in his campaign in the ring with 27 wins, no losses, 23 big wins coming by way of knockout. Here is one of the young stars of boxing today, making the 8th defense of his title, introducing the undefeated IBF welterweight champion of the world, Felix Trinidad. Once again, here's our referee in charge, Mitch Halpern, now to give instructions.
One out. All right, I've already go the instructions in the dressing room. I expect a good, clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. Good luck to both of you. Any questions? All right, touch gloves. Let's go.
The final instructions from referee Mitch Halpern here at the MGM Grand Garden in Las Vegas, getting set for our main event, the IBF Welterweight Championship. Felix Trinidad, this is the man most everybody came here to see. He says, I've always wanted to be a headliner. This is my time to shine. From Cupe Alto, Puerto Rico, the undefeated Felix Trinidad, 27-0 with 23 knockouts. He is the IBF Welterweight Champion. And he'll be facing Rockin' Rodney Moore, ranked 8th in the IBF, 37-9-2 with 19 KOs. And as for tonight, Trinidad told us he has good respect for Rodney Moore, good boxer, good defensive fighter, but that he really doesn't pay attention to his opponent's weakness. He just goes out and does his thing. He has been careless early in fights, but he is a tremendous puncher with either hand, good boxer. Sometimes a tough starter, but a very good finisher when he gets an opponent in trouble.
You know, something that Rodney said and he wanted to address was that he was also the same height as Trinidad and that he wouldn't have a leverage disadvantage. But we'll see what he does with it now.
Let me tell you, look at him. Does it look like they're the same size to you? Trinidad looks like half a head taller than he is.
He not only that, he looks like he's half a head wider.
Yeah, right. And
he just looks thicker and stronger.
And half a mile faster.
7 first-round knockouts for Felix Trinidad. A total of just 107 rounds in 27 fights. Trinidad in the multicolored trunks, Moore in the white. And Trinidad comes forward, a straight right.
Trinidad's very patient in these opening rounds. Sometimes I think that's why he gets knocked down. He just kind of takes his time getting started. Once the action heats up in the second round or so, he seems to have figured out, and then he goes on a rampage.
He said despite going down against Obakar and Yuri Boy Campos, he's never been seriously hurt, but he did admit, and understandably so, that Campos hit him the hardest.
You can see Moore trying to sting him with that right hand a couple of times with the counter. There again, another miss. He took his time coming out. He didn't jump in and run after him, you know, just wild or anything like that. But he is making sure he's careful and he's being smart. He's not doing anything silly, but he's not landing either.
Wild swing and a miss by Moore.
But a nice counter by Trinidad. Trinidad makes you pay when you miss. He doesn't let you get by without anything, without having a little reminder of the power that he's got.
Moore told us this thing's not going 12 rounds. It's going to be a puncher's fight. He said, I can't tap. I've got to punch with authority. I'm looking to sting him with my right hand. He thinks Trinidad is susceptible to the right hand. And he says, I'm taking this fight like it's my last.
And also by firing up a couple of those haymakers, he's made Trinidad be a little more wary of, you know, coming in himself. He's got to watch the big punches, the haymakers, and not get sloppy.
But I think everybody tries to fight him this way. The first round, they try to land something hard, and Trinidad's seen it all. I mean, and now at this stage of his career, he's ready for no surprises. He's ready to just take them as they come.
And you see the elusive defense of Trinidad as well. Great side-to-side movement. Trinidad hasn't even broken a sweat. Not so sure that's good or bad. It is very warm in here. Soft punches there by Trinidad. Dancing around.
Kind of find your punches. Kind of, where are you? Let me zero in punches.
Yeah, he's looking for his range right now. Now trying to dig their body a little bit. You just saw a moment ago, but he's looking for his range. He's looking for his timing, but not really very active right now.
End of round 1 will follow Felix into his corner. You hear the crowd reaction. Felix's trainer is his dad, Felix Sr.
Cuando él te haga guaje, va para abajo, trata de ver si podemos pasar esos golpes sin tener que irnos muy lejos, para que pueda aprovechar el momento. ¿Está bien? ¿Estamos bien?
He said, don't get too far. Just make sure that you're within range so when he misses, you make him pay. You're doing all right. Just keep that distance, just like you got. They're very happy with what happened in the first round. Well, they should be. He won it easy.
Estamos bien. Estamos bien en la pelea. Mano alta.
Okay, let's go, baby. Wake up. Get up there, man. You in shape, baby. You come this far, baby. You in shape. Okay? All right. Gotta get past this round. Okay? Get past this one. We go to work.
Mentioned in round 1 that Trinidad is not even coming close to perspiring here, and it may be because he came late with the Morrison situation, having to pull out of the fight card. Well, just a handful of punches landed in round number 1. Not much happened, and the crowd booing at the end of the round. Now Trinidad coming forward, but Moore able to escape.
See, what Trinidad's going to probably try and do here now is establish that he's the stronger of the fighters, that he can move more when he wants to, and that'll put Moore immediately on the defensive.
Moore usually boxes early in fights. That's his history. Then he really gets into it. Early in his career, he ran a lot, but then he ran out of gas. Now he's more of a boxer puncher. He can mix it up and go to the body, but he's being extra careful with the champion, Trinidad.
He almost has a worried look on his face. His countenance is one of preoccupation. It's like, I'm waiting for something big to land. What's it going to feel like?
That's the feeling he gave us even in our talk with him yesterday.
You know, you got the feeling it was going to be maybe a barn burner for 2 or 3 and then fold it up as you may, whoever lands the big bombs. And obviously Trinidad's expected to do that by everybody. So he's fighting basically a smart fight right now, but he's got to get off a little more. He's got to be more effective with the counters.
Moore does have a good jab. We haven't seen much of it. He's gained stamina over the years. There's a wild swing and a miss again by Moore with the right hook. He went from a stick and move stylist to a knockout artist. Had just 8 knockouts in 29 fights before 1990. 8 knockouts in 15 fights since. Halfway through the second round. So many great fighters over the years come out of the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. Where would you rank Rodney Moore?
On the outskirts. Way on the outskirts.
Camden?
Way out there. Don't mention him with those animals that I knew from Philadelphia. Whoa, those are fighters. Fearful people come out of Philadelphia. And where they come out of in droves is Puerto Rico, because they produce beautiful champions in Puerto Rico.
You see Trinidad zeroing in on the body now, trying to work from both sides. Right hands around, left hooks underneath, trying to work the body to get the legs out from under Rodney Moore.
Keep it up. Keep it up.
Mitch Halpern instructing Felix Trinidad to keep the punches up. A little low there.
Now Trinidad is getting the range. He just now has moved into where he feels like he can punch heavy. That was a nice thought by Moore. Punched with a lot of evil intentions. This and the first real hard punch is thrown.
Could execute against the cat-like quickness of Felix Trinidad.
Trinidad's fighting smart. He's not wasting any energy. He's doing what he's got to do.
And again, the crowd reacts.
Breathe together, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what we've been working on all the time? Breathe together, hold your head down. And hold down in there. Deep breath, deep breath. Hold down, push in. You understand what I'm saying? You put 3 together. You give me 2 punches at a time, it's no good, okay? You make a miss, you got to make him pay. He's right there when you make a miss. When you slip, you should come right with the double hook. Let's turn it right there, bam, bam, okay? Slow it up and make sure you connect. You rushing your punches. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. Don't rush your punches, make sure they connect. Easy, all right? You got to step into them sometime when you want to hit them. Okay. You're too far away. When you get ready to punch, step right to him and fire and get the hell out of here, okay? Deep breath. Come on, baby. Come on.
Oíste, con calma. Cambiando una mano por otra.
He's telling him, don't step back from him. Stay right there when you punch. You got the range now. Now load up on the punches. Basically what we were seeing right before then, when he gets close enough and he looks like, well, now I can start to unload. And of course, that's what they told him in the corner. Now that you're there, start letting go.
Round 3. Here's time called by Mitch Halpern.
There's some
too much Vaseline above the nose there, on the bridge of the nose.
Let's go. Let me see. No, hey, come here. I want to flatten it out on the nose. Flatten it out. Flatten it out. Let's go. Okay. Go.
All right, here we go. Moore still being very cautious due to Trinidad's vaunted power. You heard Marvin Garris in the corner of Rockin' Rodney Moore. Well, you try every trick that you can think of against a guy like Felix Trinidad, and if that includes a lot of Vaseline on the face, so be it. Trying to get away with it.
And it was on the bridge of the nose, which Felix would have straightened out for him in about 2 jabs. I mean, that would have been gone.
Yeah, I'm not sure that was going to be a whole lot of help for anybody.
No.
You try anything here.
It's the second punch that Felix let fly that was a little low. Got a warning from the referee, but that left hook is starting to find its place.
Trinidad whacks with the left hook, but that was pretty well guarded by Rockin' Rodney Moore. But chopping shot, missing with the left, is Trinidad.
Trinidad is missing those killer shots. He's trying too hard. He's loading up. And
loading up just a bit too much.
Yeah, he's loading up on him. It's not like him.
He's trying to end this thing in one punch, and
see that?
There it is.
That's not like him. It doesn't look good, and it's not like him.
No, he's a worker. He likes to work. He likes to throw the combinations and start to add punches 2, 3, 4, 5 together. Now he's just looking for that big right hand.
Oh, there's a good body shot by Felix Trinidad.
That's money in the bank. That's that Chavez shot to the side.
Trinidad has been showing a lot more maturity with each passing fight. Again, body shot, but a little low there for the tastes of Mitch Halpern. And Rodney Moore complaining. Left hook there by Rodney Moore. He comes back.
See, he's already complaining about the side. There it is again.
Let's go.
Complaining to Mitch Halpern, Rodney Moore, but Trinidad goes right back to the body.
Yep. I'll tell you what, though, the belt is legal, so anything on the belt is borderline, but it's still legal. It's like the foul line. It's a fair ball.
Keep it up, buddy. Come on, keep it up.
Now, Mitch Halpern just telling Rodney Moore to keep the punches up.
Well, I don't know if you can hear it over our shoulder. The corner said, hit him back low.
Less than 30 seconds to go in the third round, and it's starting to get a little foul-plagued here. Oh, straight right hand by Trinidad.
Flush on the landed on the shoulder. Oh. Glanced right off his joint, hit him in the shoulder.
Did it really? That one right on the face, though, by Trinidad. Final seconds, round 3. Right hand, straight lead by Moore. Nice punch.
But he didn't follow it up.
Yeah. As the bell sounded. Let's see how Rockin' Rodney is.
Okay? If he's doing that, what you gonna do? Huh? This is a real, this is for real, okay? This is for real. Now remember when you're ducking, the man is right there to be hit. He just pulling out there. When you're ducking, you squatting out, that's when he's there to be hit. When you make a miss, you gotta fire. Like we telling you in the gym, ain't no just moving and getting away. He's there for you to fire on. You put 3 punches together on him, man. 3 punches.
Just take a look at these body shots that are having such a devastating effect on Moore. See, that's like Bobby said, right on the belt. He went up ahead, but he missed on top. Bobby, those things are landing right at the belt.
Yeah. Now you watch and see the right hand, too. He's throwing them both. He throws the left hook low, he throws the right hand, but you watch the right hand on his dead in the middle of the chin. That one was in the middle of the chin.
That's a good thing that Moore was going back with that punch. Had he been coming forward and got hit like that, he'd have been in our lap.
Fred Jenkins really taking over there in the corner of Rodney Moore. And now it's round 4.
But once again, his trainer's telling him, you know, he's right there to hit him. Don't back up, don't back off. Get your pound of flesh, put yourself in a position to have a shot at winning. It's the only way to go.
Well, right now, all he's doing is fighting a survival fight. It doesn't look like he's got a winning thought in his mind. Right now, it's how can I survive this?
Moore's 3rd world title shot. His first as a welterweight. He's 37-9-2 with 19 knockouts. Ranked number 8 by the IBF. Again, punches down low.
Not too flagrant, though. I don't know.
Now Moore going to the body with the left hook. A short, crisp punch. His blood for the left nostril of Moore. There's a low blow by that was low. Low blow.
That was very low.
That was low. That was under the belt and on the cup. There's blood on the nose of Rocking Robert. Oh, yeah. He's had both nostrils, a little bit of blood. He's gotten connected several times with good straight right hands. Trinidad beginning to smell that the hunt is over.
Yeah, those pounds of power are now taking their toll on Rockin' Rodney's body, and now right now is on his face too.
Yeah, Rockin' Rodney is getting rocked.
The accumulative effect of Felix Trinidad's body punches like that one just there, that left hook to the ribs. Blood from the nose of Rockin' Rodney Moore, who has to backpedal. The on-rushing Trinidad. Now with some head fakes. Trinidad in total command. Oh, down to one knee is Moore.
That was that shot. He's been complaining of the ribs. That rib shot will take your legs out from under you. Not a pretty knockdown. Not pretty at all. The fans don't like it.
He gets up on 9. He tells Mitch Halpern he's all right. Bounces around, and here he comes again.
You know, the only problem I have with fighters is stay down to 9. When you jump up, suppose you slip. That's it. You're done. Get up at 6 if you can. Take the rest standing.
Will he survive the final minute of round 4?
It's that side that's doing the damage. Those blows to the ribs on the side are just caving him in. There, that's it, right there. There, that's it again.
Moore fighting back and says, come on, he's tough, isn't he?
Well, he wants
He's got guts.
Not only that, but maybe he's doing what he's doing too, is to try and give himself a little momentum, psych himself a little.
Well, he has to, because this way is a one-way beating. He might as well fight back and try to get lucky.
Just protecting his ribs now from the shots of Felix Trinidad.
There's the end.
Moore is punching back, but he's missing.
Felix is too strong, and basically he's too talented, but his strength is such a big factor, that added weight to pounds. And like we said, he's a borderline junior middleweight.
Oh, an assault here, and he goes down for the second time.
3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, he would do well to stay down, because this is a hopeless fight for him.
You okay?
He gets up on 9 again. Second knockdown this
You want
round.
to keep going? You keep your hands up. Let's go.
Oh, he's wobbling.
Let's go.
But he says, I want to keep going as the bell sounds.
Come on, son. How you doing? How you feeling? You know we got pictures.
Rodney, how are you?
Rodney. Okay. Talk to me.
Really?
Huh?
How you feeling? You want to continue? You kept hitting me on the fucking side, man. You want to continue?
Listen to me. Let me ask you one question. If you can give me one round.
Here is the knockdown. First one, and it's a product of that was a product of a punch to the side.
We get a little better look at it. He just pushes Rodney back. He's using his strength, and he digs right up underneath. And I think it was cumulative there. That wasn't the cleanest one he'd thrown. He did landed several before.
And the last one was 3 shots up. Yeah, they're stopping this fight, and for a good reason. I think Rodney didn't want any more. He said so. And while we were watching the replays, they were discussing stopping the hostilities, which they did. There was no problem there. The doctor did a wise thing.
Yes, it is all over, and Felix Trinidad retains his IBF welterweight championship. 2 knockdowns in the 4th round. They came over and they saw that that was enough for Rodney Moore. Unable to continue after 4 rounds. Felix Trinidad with greetings. There's Rodney Moore.
The ref wasn't trying to help you out. Beat you 5 times.
Moore now drops to 37-10-2, and Felix Trinidad goes to 28-0 with 24 by way of knockout at the age of 23. Another defense of the title.
Let's take a look at that last knockdown again. You know, Rodney Moore is being pushed and beaten up on. His body's getting hurt by the power and the strength. And right here, you see this is, again, these aren't the most devastating of shots. That one's a little glancing, but he throws a nice left uppercut right in here. It glances off his temple. And, you know, it's cumulative effect. He's hitting him, he's hitting him, he's hitting him, and the shots hurt. Felix can punch.
His 8th defense of the title. Let's take another look.
Again, Rodney's going backwards. He's in a defensive, semi-survival mode. A good clean left hook there that partially blocked. That left right there, you know, it's deceiving, but you get hit in the side of the temple like that, odd things happening there. You saw his legs were not very steady underneath him.
Trinidad with an easy, relaxed style, but he can turn it up in a hurry.
As we see one more time, that left hook was flush, even though it was partially blocked by the glove. The punches are going, some of them are actually going through those gloves, and there's damage and repercussions and concussion from it. So Rodney just outgunned today.
So Trinidad pouring on the pressure in round number 4, putting Moore on the canvas 2 times. Moore getting up both times on the count of 9. But then on the final, he wobbled to his corner, and that was it. Let's get the official time from our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of round number 4, our referee in charge, Mitch Halpern, stops the contest on advice of the corner. The winner by way of technical knockout. He is still undefeated and still the IBF welterweight champion of the world, Felix Trinidad.
So Felix Trinidad exults, makes his 8th defense of the IBF welterweight title, ups his record to 28-0 with 24 knockouts. Easy work of Rockin' Rodney Moore, his 3rd try at a world championship, his first as a welterweight. Trinidad continues to soar.
He makes it look effortless, too, because he's just so put together so well. He's got the good boxing skills. You know, his chin, people have questioned, but every time he gets up, that's when trouble usually starts. And here, Rockin' Rodney Moore tried to fire that right hand, but he telegraphed it quite a bit, didn't really catch him, tried and wanted to, but was just, again, he was outgunned. The strength was just so difficult.
Trinidad in complete control. He didn't go down in this fight whatsoever. So we're ready for post-fight interviews. Let's go to the ring of the Fight Doctor, Ferdy Pacheco.
Felix, pensaba que iba a ser tan fácil. Did you think it was going to be this easy?
Bueno, en realidad yo siempre había dicho que Rodney Moore es un gran boxeador. La pelea duró poco, pero gracias a mi condición y mi habilidad en el ring.
Yeah, he said he's a good fighter, but I was in good condition, and I felt that it would be over easy. Y ahora quieres pelear varias peleas repetidas. Do you want to keep on fighting right as soon as you're through?
Sí, que quiero mantenerme activo. El señor Don King me ha dicho que vamos a mantenernos activos y creo que la próxima va a ser en marzo 23, si Dios quiere.
All right, he says he wants to keep busy, he wants to keep active, go to the big fights. We're going to look at the replays. Vamos a ver los replays aquí de los dos knockdowns. All right, tú dime lo que está pasando.
Bueno, ahí creo que fue que le dio un gancho izquierdo al cuerpo y ahí creo que fue la primera caída de que lo ocasioné a Rodney Moore.
He said the first one was the shots to the side, but that replay looked like that was uppercuts. Mira, ver.
Sí, ahí fue la cabeza, sí, ahí fue un gancho izquierda que le di en el cráneo.
Y ahora tres. Ahí.
Sí.
See, those are the three uppercuts that did him in. Felix, what you were talking about was the side punches. Los punches al costado le tenía muy preocupado.
Sí, yo pego bien duro con esa mano izquierda, pego duro con dos manos, pero el gancho izquierda que le coloqué al cuerpo, pues fue un golpe, creo que fue que determinó la pelea.
Well, what he thought finished the fight was the left hooks. The left hooks were devastating, and that's what he thought won him the fight. ¿Qué es lo que usted de verdad quiere en el boxeo? ¿Quién quiere pelear?
Bueno, sí, la pelea que yo quiero, la pelea que todo el mundo quiere, la pelea con Pernell Whitaker. Yo espero que esa pelea ya se dé para junio. Quiero pelear ya con él.
He wants to get it on with Pernell Whitaker, June and July. He's willing to fight while he's waiting repeatedly to keep himself in shape, but he wants Pernell Whitaker, and he wants him real bad. Wants him for June and July. That we will talk with Don King when we come back after talking to Steve.
All right, thank you, Ferdy. Appreciate it. Well, what's left for Felix Trinidad to prove? He makes easy work of Rockin' Rodney Moore. He's got to get in there now with Pernell Whitaker or Frankie Randall or Ike Corte or maybe even Terry Norris.
As we said on top of the show, you probably weren't going to be able to judge just how great he can be. Pernell Whitaker, tremendous judge. Maybe the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, the only one to contest that right now. Also, Roy Jones Jr. He's too big for Trinidad, but I'll tell you, Ike Corte, also a good fighter. He needs to unify. If he can do that, he'll be a standout.
This really isn't a good yardstick by which to measure Felix Trinidad tonight. I mean, Rodney Moore is a good fighter. That's easy for me to say, right? But he's not in the class of Felix Trinidad.
No, he's a good fighter, and he's had a nice career, but you're looking at a potentially all-time great welterweight fighter. He has the ability. He's young enough. He does everything so very well. There's no upside him. He may beat himself someday, but no one else now.
I told Felix yesterday in our meeting, if he does get into the ring eventually with Terry Norris, terrible Terry Norris, to be most careful after the bell rings. I think that's pretty good advice.
Yeah, that's not bad advice. Terry's got the rage under control, though, right now.
Okay. All right. Hopefully having the rage under control is the Fight Doctor, Ferdy Pacheco. Let's go back to Doc.
All right, we're up in the ring with Don King, who has just heard the challenge. He wants to fight Pernell Whitaker. You're the man that makes the matches. Is that possible?
I certainly hope so. I know that they've been had to hand the subterfuge, you're saying that Don King has been the impediment or the obstacle in the way of him fighting Pernell Whitaker. That is not so. We'll fight Pernell Whitaker anytime, any place, anywhere. And I said that to HBO last night, that he's ready to go. He's ready to fight him or Ike Corte, or he want to fight Terry Norris too, but he wants to move up. When he move up to fight Terry Norris, he don't want to come back down. So he want to take that 147-pound business now. Pernell Whitaker, where are you? Don't let them keep on taking your manhood from you and hiding behind shades and facades. Come on out and fight the guy, and let's get it on.
Well, they keep claiming there's two different entities here, but you had a great solution a moment ago, you told me.
Yes, we're fighting one on Showtime, one on HBO, one on HBO, one on Showtime. I think the Showtime fighters are the best fighters in the world, and I think they'll beat any fighter that's fighting for HBO. So how do you get it on? You make them fight each other, and let's cut Let's cut out the politics and all that stuff and let these guys fight. You say you want the public to have the best fight? Let's give it to them. We at Showtime know we have the greatest champions in the world, and we can't prove that until we can knock off the HBO champions. So we're ready for to take them on. So if they're not afraid, come on out from behind the curtain and playing that subterfuge and that charlatan game, and come on and fight, Birdie.
I think that's about as fair as I can know you can lay down a gauntlet in boxing. Let's go down to Steve a moment, who's got a guest with him.
Yeah, I think you recognize this guy to my right, the former heavyweight champ of the world, fellow by the name of Mike Tyson, who's in training for Frank Bruno for the WBC heavyweight championship on March 16th here in Las Vegas. How are you feeling physically right now?
Absolutely great.
Yeah. How about the hand? I know that was a question, obviously. It had to postpone the first fight with Buster. How about right now? Everything 100%?
Everything's going well. I'm just looking forward to March 16th.
You've had less than 4 rounds of preparation in your 2 fights to get ready for this championship. Is that enough for you?
Well, it is irrelevant at this particular point. I'm here and I'm prepared. He's here to defend his title. I'm here to take it, and I'm going to have it.
Mike, given the quality of opponents that you've had in your comeback, the first 2, how do you measure your progress right now?
Well, the first fight was basically just filling out progress as far as getting back into the ring and getting more acquainted with the atmosphere of the fight game. And the second fight was, as you know, to a higher caliber, and I'm just confident I'm going to do well this fight on March 16th.
If you get by Frank Bruno on March 16th.
When I get by Frank Bruno.
Okay, yeah. When you get by, he can be intimidating. Assuming you get by Frank Bruno on March 16th, what's next for you? Would you like to go for the WBA title and Bruce Seldon, or the IBF and both?
Well, you know, I mean, I take it one fight at a time. This particular moment, my focus is on Frank Bruno, and as I said before, I refuse to be beaten. I have to have this belt.
Did he hurt you in the first fight back in 1989?
Well, if he hurt me, I'm sure I hurt him more than he hurt me, because I came out victorious.
What about the fact that Mr. Bruno is out for revenge?
Well, that's good. That's good. I'm just, all praise be to God, I'm just happy that I'm having the opportunity to fight him for the title, and I look forward to doing well, and I'll come to be victorious.
On March 16th. All right, Mike, we really appreciate you taking the time. Thanks for stopping by. We say goodbye to Mike Tyson, and let's say hello once again to Bobby Ches. And Bobby, your final thoughts on the Tommy Morrison situation? Very strange. The thing was canceled late this afternoon.
Well, when I talked to Tony Holden again, and here are some of the problems. Nobody wants to say anything very specific. Right now, they want to go back and review the tests. Make sure the tests are correct, but no one's telling me what the tests are actually saying. But what the tests are saying, in essence, is that Tommy Morrison is indefinitely suspended. They're going to go back and review these tests, and they're going to talk about things there. He knows why he's been suspended. Tony was a little vague, you know, as we were talking in the ring. He knows why he's suspended. No one wants to talk about it right now. They want to go back and regroup. They want to think about things. They want to see exactly what's what, make sure the tests are accurate for starters, because he seems a bit confused right now, according to Tony Holden.
Bobby, what kind of tests are you talking about here?
Medical tests is all he would give me. Very quiet. Everybody's very quiet about it and very closed-mouthed. Right. Everybody's, I guess, worried about a lot of different things, and I hate to speculate. Right now, it puts us in a frustrating situation and position, because obviously he was going to fight a couple hours ago. I was downstairs talking to him, shaking hands, big, strong, looked like he was ready to go, but he's medically unfit for whatever reason, based on the tests that the state took, whichever tests they were, and they need to be now reviewed to make sure that they're accurate to start with in the first place. So, confusion.
Yeah, really. It rains. Thank you very much, Bobby. Well, recapping the opening fight, the first professional women's boxing match here on Showtime, it was Christy Martin defeating Sue Chase by technical knockout in round 3. The first women's fight on national television, and in our main event, the IBF Welterweight Championship, easy pickings for Felix Tito Trinidad as he knocked off Rodney Moore, Rockin' Rodney, by TKO in round number 4. So a special panel of judges comprised of members of the boxing media covering tonight's action votes on the fighter of the night. Let's go to our fighter of the night presentation here on Showtime Championship Boxing. Here is your panel. We begin with Ron Borges of the Boston Globe, Royce Fuhr of the Las Vegas Review-Journal, and Steve Springer of the Los Angeles Times. And our judges have selected as tonight's fighter of the night here on Showtime, Christy Martin. Congratulations to Christy for being chosen as the fighter of the night. And this is the best part. A $5,000 donation will be made in the name of Christy Martin to each of these organizations. Big night for Christy, making her national TV debut. The United Negro College Fund, the National Hispanic Scholarship Fund, and the University of Nevada, Las Vegas by Showtime Networks and Don King Productions. Speaking of Don King, we have one final comment from Don alongside the fight doctor. Ferdy?
Don, much fighting in the future. Let's talk about England first.
Well, first of all, let me say I want to thank Matt Blank, you know, because he's really been, he's the president of Showtime, and he's really been a tremendous guy in helping us to keep all these shows flowing, Ferdy. And I think this we should give a vote of confidence to him, and I really like that. And so we're going to have a show on March the 2nd in Newcastle. It is going to be Nigel Benn, and he's going to take on the #1 contender, Sugar Boy Malinga. And then we got Boom Boom Johnson, who is making his 10th or 9th title defense. This young kid is really terrific, and he's taking on Evans Bolaño. So it's going to be a tremendous Showtime show that's going to be coming up on March the 2nd out of Newcastle, England, before we go back into the Mike Tyson and Bruno for the challenge for the heavyweight championship of the world, and that's really exciting.
There's a rumor here that Tyson will come back in June if everything goes well, or July sometime. Are you going to fight him that quick?
Yes, indeed. If Tyson comes through like we all believe that he will do, as you know, it's ironic that this time Tyson is the challenger against Bruno in the same city. 7 years ago, he was the champion and Bruno was the challenger, and Tyson said, this guy hit me harder than anybody ever hit me in my life. So now Tyson has to take this hard-punching Bruno and try to exercise him again like he did before to become the WBC champion of the world. So we call it the championship part 1. And then it will be part 2, the championship part 2 and championship part 3. And we will have Showtime. We'll have the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, and we'll take on all comers, the Riddick Bowes, the George Foremans, and whoever so will, let him come.
Well, that'll be good for boxing, and I think we're going to have an interesting summer together as usual, Don. And we go back to Steve and Bobby at ringside.
All right, thanks very much, Ferdy. Just to drive our point home, Saturday, March 2nd on Showtime Championship Boxing, we travel across the pond to Newcastle, England for a special doubleheader. First, WBC super middleweight champion Nigel the Dark Destroyer Benn makes the 10th defense of his title against the #1 ranked WBC contender Thulani Sugarboy Malinga of South Africa. That's Saturday, March 2nd via satellite from Newcastle, England, 10 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. Then on March 16th, SCT Pay-Per-View is proud to present Mike Tyson's first World Championship fight in over 6 years when he challenges England's popular WBC heavyweight champion Frank Bruno. In their first meeting in 1989, Tyson, then the undisputed world heavyweight champion, successfully retained his title with a 5th-round TKO. Bruno has waited 7 long years for his revenge, so you can see this great rematch live on pay-per-view on Saturday, March 16th at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. So that'll do it for this unique edition of Showtime Championship Boxing. For the fight doctor, Ferdy Pacheco, Bobby Ches, our entire crew, Steve Albert saying so long from the MGM Grand Garden in Las Vegas, Nevada.